Have you ever wondered how you could create storyboard using images? In my last video, I shared my experience on how to use mood boards for your photography projects and also how to use mood boards to achieve personal goals, otherwise known as vision boards. You can check the video in my channel. In this video, I will be sharing how I created storyboards using images, citing examples from my YouTube channel trailer, A New Journey. Our world is dying of hope, like never before. I believe our stories have the power to ignite hope in us. It has the ability to help us believe in possibilities. They are what connect us and help us appreciate the world around us. Ultimately, they help us comprehend our struggles, our pains, and give meaning to our existence. Before I get started, I set the goal to get to 1,000 subscribers in order for me to get into the YouTube Partners Program. It would really mean a lot if you could help me get there by clicking the subscribe button, by sharing this video to somebody who might need it, and by liking it. Thank you very much. So what are storyboards and why are they important? But before I get into that, I would like to give you a brief definition of what a story is, what a script is, and then what a storyboard is. A story is a telling of events about a character who sets out to achieve a goal or an objective, but somehow unable to achieve that goal because of challenges or obstacles that ensue in the process.
I'm Chris Gardner. I met my father for the first time when I was 28 years old, and I made up my mind as a young kid that when I had children, my children were going to know who their father was. I needed to sell at least 2 scanners a month for rent and daycare. I'd have to sell 1 more to pay off all of those tickets under my windshield wiper. The problem is, I haven't sold any for a while. I still remember that moment. They all looked so damn happy to me. Why couldn't I look like that?
A script is a verbal plan of the story. A storyboard is a plan for the visualization of that story, shown in a sequence in which the story is going to be told. Therefore, it's safe to say that a storyboard is the inspirational heart, mind, and soul of the movie, which helps to show the map of action and the emotional road of a movie. Depending on what style of documentary you're trying to create, whatever type of film you're trying to create, the first step is to define your concept or your story. For me, on my project, it was a narrative driven by a script. So like I said, the first step is to define the goal. What message am I trying to pass across to the world? Every story that you've ever seen that has been written by anybody or you've ever watched came with an intention or a message. So it's important that you define that. For me, in writing my script, because it was my first experience starting up a YouTube channel, I wanted to give my viewers an idea of what they should expect on my channel. So I wanted to capture my intention, my beliefs, and what my subscribers or my viewers should expect. So the next step, once you've defined your idea of your story, is to define what your visual approach is. That is, you're trying to answer the question, how do I intend to approach executing this story visually? How do I intend to drive the narrative of my story through my theme, my composition, my cinematography, lighting, or production design? So for me, because mine was fairly easy, it was outdoor, right? So I didn't go through a complex process in defining my visual approach. I knew that I just wanted it to happen outdoor. I wanted a bit of sound design driven by my voiceover, and that was it. So depending on what your product is, it might just differ, but you just need to understand what my lighting is going to be like, what my cinematography is going to be like, what my production design is going to be like, my theme or my composition, and that's going to define what your visual approach is. The next step is to define what your visual style is, and that's what I call your mood board, still your mood board. What is the style of your story? What scenes do you want to create in your story? So for me, I wanted it to be documentary-like. I wanted it to show everyday lives of people, the nature, beaches. That's what I wanted to create in my scenes. So depending on what yours is going to be like, you need to define what your mood board is, and you can do that by, and what I did for mine was that I went online on Google, and I knew all the characteristics of what the scenes that what I wanted to see in my story based on my script, and I searched for it, and I used them as inspiration to create my mood board. So that is the next step after you have defined it. So because I'm not so great at drawing for storyboards, I thought of an alternative way to get the same result if I was drawing it out. So how did I do that? I thought of things that best communicated the idea of what I had on my script. And then I identified the scenes. I looked for images on Google for inspiration to best represent them. So take, for example, first sentence, which says our world's in dire need of hope like never before. I had to think of scenes that could best represent the opening scene. What I imagined was an aerial view showing an expanse of land which represents people living in it, just as you can see here. So I wanted to show the sunrise in that scene. The second line, as you can see, which says, I believe our stories have the power to ignite hope in us. So I thought stories of who? People. So I thought about capturing the natural environment that people live in, as you can see, and I wanted it to continue within the environment that I started from. So I decided to get a camera angle of that scene on the ground level, showing the environment and the POV shot in a car, which could represent a person looking. So as you can see, I'm building the storyboard piece by piece. Next line, they are what connect us and help us appreciate the world around us. Who is connected? Our stories connect us as people. So I wanted to show another scene of people in an environment. You get my thought process, right? The most important information here is to think of scenes that best represent the idea you're trying to communicate in your script, and then look for images that look similar to fix in your storyboard. When you have done that for your entire script or storyline, because it's not a static image, it's motion. So you need to describe how your images are going to transition through or cut through to the next scene in terms of the camera angle and movement. As you can see in the description in yellow, what that will do is that it will help the cinematographer know what lenses to use and what lenses to use at each point in time, and how the shots are going to be taken, whether it's close-up, whether it's point of view, or whether it's aerial view or overhead. Location. Location is one of the most important elements in your storyboard. I can't overemphasize that. So now you have an idea of what the scenes will look like to capture based on your visual style and your mood board. That should inform your location research. For me, it was finding a place with a bridge, with a beach, and places where I can find people going about their activities, their daily activities, as well as other environmental aesthetic scenes. So for this project, I had 3 attempts at executing this project, meaning that I had 2 failed attempts. This happened because of my understanding of the location, planning, and other surrounding factors. Because I wanted to have a sunrise in my scene, I chose a location that I didn't quite understand in terms of where and when the sun sets. So when my team and I got there, we were not able to get the shots we wanted. Resources were wasted, but lessons were learned. So it's important to understand your location, the location you'll be shooting in, especially if weather is an important factor in your story, just as it was for mine. And once you understand that, we can factor that in the drawing of your storyboard plan. So the next thing is your shot list. Once you have created the flow of your story through the mood board and you have identified the locations that you want to use, then you need to list out shots that will be taken, and not just listing out the shots. I would recommend that you list it out first in the sequence of your story flow. Describe where it's going to be taken, the type of shots that will be taken in each scene, and the gears that you're going to need. This will then inform your schedule plan, which is the final step. Once you have done all the previous steps and you're fine with it like I was, you have a team that you're working with, your execution team, and now you can create a schedule plan when you want to execute it. This will also help you, the storyboard will also help you plan your logistics. So this is my storyboarding process and how I create storyboard with images. Note, it is not industry standard of how to create a storyboard. It's just how I create my storyboard now, given the resources that are available to me. It can always change, but the principles always remain the same. So stick to the end to get a direct link so that you can watch the channel trailer, the story, so that you can understand, now that you have the behind the scene knowledge of how I created it, and you can watch it and follow the process so that it can inform you when you're creating a storyboard for your own project. So I hope this was very helpful to you. If there are any other ways that you create storyboard with images, you can always drop it in the comment section. We would love to learn from you. I will be reading and looking forward to commenting. Thank you very much for your time. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share with someone who might need it. It's really going to help me in growing my channel. Thank you very much, and see you in the next video.